everyone. We're at the Printing United Expo. We're doing video 4. Again, as we've stressed in the other 3 videos, this place is so big, we had to break it up into 4 videos, and it's still gonna be long. Right here we have a printing press from the 1930s. And if you've, one of the things I learned in school was the invention of the printing press was one of the biggest inventions of all time because of how it allowed us to get information out quickly. It all started with pamphlets and, we didn't have flyers, brochures back then, but that's how you got the message out. And you can see back from the 1930s, we've come a long way from here. So what do you say, Colin? We start walking the floor again. I mean, we're still not going to be able to cover everything here, but
yeah, not even close.
Not even close. And there's just everything. Wide format, grand format, lithography, digital, all of it. So right here, check out these. These are guillotine cutters. So you'll print something bigger like this, and then they'll cut it down into the individual. You don't print a business card on one machine that's specifically built to print business cards. You print a sheet of business cards, or as Colin and I like, baseball cards, trading cards. It all starts as a big sheet, and then it's cut down using a guillotine cutter, a few other types of cutters. Right here, I think we're looking at folding machines. You can see that this is taking a piece of paper and then it's folding it into an envelope. So in the offset digital world of signage and paper printing, half of the battle is to get it to print, and then there's a lot of finishing, whether it's cutting, folding, binding, and even more. I mean, okay, so why is this here? Well, humidity. Humidity is extremely important in a lot of different environments. Sometimes you need really low humidity. If you're playing around with paper, paper will warp and fold when it has high humidity. So when I've toured some bigger shops that do offset printing, you can actually feel a difference in humidity from one room to another. No, you're good. No, you're good, bud. So, I mean, we're in a convention center and there's an Airstream here.
Yeah, we got any Airstream fans out there?
This thing's it says classic. I mean,
and it's not cheap.
It's beautiful. I would love
These are very rare. So that's pretty cool to see.
I don't remember them being that big either. So again, man, like this show
Airstream
is just unfathomable. What we have here is one of your classic methods of printing onto a lot of different types of media. This is a lithography press. And the only reason I know what it is because my father-in-law is a lithographer. He runs one of these machines as the production manager of a very large shop. So instead of burning screens, you burn plates, a cylinder plate that then the paper or other media goes through and drops the CMYK, and then typically you have even more with light cyan, light magenta, varnish. You can control if it's going to have that matte or gloss finish after it's been printing, or the actual media itself will determine if it's a matte or a gloss by default. So there's just so much going on.
The
robotics in this room is also just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, like we've walked in this room a few times. I somehow didn't see this the first 3 or 4 times.
Look at that speed. Now, what is it doing? I don't know, because it's not grabbing anything at the moment. Now you can see on the computer screen, what's it typically printing here? I don't know. Oh, this is what it's doing. A catalog. So it can print an entire catalog, and then it binds it all together, folds it, and voila, you're ready to go. Now, this side of the industry, it's not dying by any means, but it has decreased with the evolution of PDFs. I mean, again, I've been in some shops that completely got out of this world. Not that it's a bad world to be in by any means, just because we don't print as much on paper as we used to. we all have electronic devices. I can pull up it on my phone, computer, tablet, and get the exact same information, which used to all be, all the direct mail. Direct mail is not dead. It's not as common, but it is far from dead. Everything in here serves a purpose. I've got a business card on me right now. Every sign in this room was essentially printed by equipment of some type in here. But like I keep saying, printing it is half the battle, and then finishing it, folding, binding, cutting. You see so many different types of devices in here.
Yeah, okay, so Zach, we mentioned at the very end of episode 3, we'll call it, Fujifilm, and then Canon down there. When I think of Fujifilm and Canon, I'm not necessarily thinking of stuff like this. I'm thinking of like cameras.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's not even, a tenth of what these companies do. They do so much more that your average person's not even going to realize.
I don't even know how you can make a purchasing decision in this side of the world, or this side of the industry. I mean, how do you compare them? But like you said, Fujifilm, very reputable brand. Canon, we see HP, we see Epson, and then a lot that I've never heard of, but don't judge a book by its cover just because you don't recognize its name. But you can see, we were over at the lithography, and this is now a lot more digitally printed. It's just digitally printing allows you to get it out the low runs a lot easier and a lot faster. Just like in the apparel world, allows you, screen printing takes a lot of setup, but the ink is much less, and the speed it can print at is extremely fast.
Right.
And
so
yeah, we're not.
So here's the thing: when you come to these trade shows, sold. People are buying this stuff on the showroom floor.
Hey, the manufacturer, the distributor doesn't want to have to haul it back with them. I know in the apparel sector, most of the time you buy equipment at the show that was just used to demo for a couple of days. It's typically around 20% less than the sticker price, and you get to take it home. So
that's another bonus to coming to a show.
I've done it. I bought it. It just has to be logistically, possible for you. But you can see everything back here is printing these types of products. So, even your magazines, this is how it's being done.
Very cool.
Very cool.
It's just something you don't even think about as a normal person.
It makes the apparel side look easy. We talk about, like with screen printing, you have all types of inks. You have Plastisol is your most popular, but then you have water-based, you have discharged, and you have max opaque and thinner. This is crazy to me, but really interesting. And like Colin, you just said, a lot of the brands that and have heard of are making this equipment to make all these paper printed products possible.
Check this out. This thing sold, man. That is not cheap. So there's a lot of high rollers coming through here, huge companies that can afford equipment of this magnitude, and this sold right on the showroom floor.
Yep, again, in my father-in-law's offset signage facility, I think I was told $50 million worth of equipment in there, and they're always adding to it. It's incredible.
Imagine the hundreds of millions of dollars that are in this convention hall.
Oh yeah,
just on display.
Look how wide this format is. I don't know if I'd call it wide format.
I don't think you can fit this in your garage, Zach.
No, I can't fit that in my garage. We in the apparel side always start in our basement or our garage is the cliche. Not in this world.
So check this out, guys.
Now this is incredible.
Yeah, got it.
So that's Coroplast. You can see that it's corrugated cardboard. Has the holes in it. So what they're doing on the far side is they're taking a blank sheet, they're then bringing it over, and there's a vacuum press that is holding the media down that then goes into the machine to be printed and cured, essentially dried. And once it's been printed and cured, the suction cups on the robot pick it up and drop it over here to be finished. It's, I don't want to know what that machine costs, Colin, because that's some incredible technology. And that's why you attend one of these trade shows. 1 year, that's not available. 6 months later, a year later, it is. And it can be a game changer for some of the bigger companies. I've never been in a Vistaprint. This is all the stuff they're using. I mean, how can you be that efficient and quick without having the right tools is beyond me. And just like apparel, different equipment, different processes all have a time and place. It's just another tool in the tool belt.
Right.
Right here we have Canon. I've heard a lot of great things about Canon. We toured a shop that exclusively uses Canon products. And not only that, they actually have a Canon technician that runs there. So a lot of these manufacturers not only sell you the equipment, but they do extensive training with you because you have to be pretty skilled in being able to do work on the machine, set it up, tear it down, bring it to a show like this. It's a pretty cool glitter effect they're able to do. That just that one machine is used to print that glitter.
And Zach, talk a little bit about just how much money these companies are spending on these booths to come here. It's not cheap.
No. I personally have exhibited several times at shows. I've actually have exhibited my business in this hall with a heat press that I sold to high school business organizations. So I've done it myself, nowhere near to this scale, but if I had to bet, I mean, we're talking not tens of thousands for a lot of these booths, we're talking hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, like the Fujifilm and Canon booths that are massive, man.
You know, Colin, we joked about, let's do a top 10 booths designs. I couldn't do 10. It'd be so difficult to be able to pick out which ones are the coolest because it's just
and it helps.
Unfathomable.
I mean, people are drawn to the flashier booths.
It does.
Any way you can get someone to walk in, I mean, that's a positive.
And I mean, wow, it's like this whole thing was made by this equipment. I mean, check out this, if I had to bet, it looks like engraving because it's cutting it down and you can see the vacuum for the exhaust is taking it away. So what we have here is a piece of acrylic. Acrylic is clear and it's cutting, what is it? Is it like a plate? That's what it looks like, doesn't it?
Maybe
Colin?
something similar to this right here.
Yeah, well, an award.
Printing United Atlanta.
And that's pretty cool versus taking, again, something like this, which is in Coroplast. What do you think this is, Colin? It's a box that then will fold and become a box. And there's definitely a machine in the room that can fold it all for you. It doesn't have to be done manually by hand. Well, Colin, I mean, again, I hope that our videos educate the DecoNetwork members, the entire printing community, what all is available. The Printing United Expo is unlike any other that I've ever been to. And it just, you can't state enough how valuable it is to attend events like this, that you can just learn so much, do a lot of networking, and you know.
And a show like this that's 3 days long, you need all 3 days. And that's even 3 days isn't enough.
3 days.
So you need to come all 3 days and maximize your time as best you can.
With a team, with objectives mapped out. I mean,
yeah, that's great
when
advice.
it comes to these videos, we pre-planned a few weeks ago because we knew in order to get every minute out of this show, we needed to be prepared. So definitely want to be prepared when you come into one of these.
Right, because it's not cheap. You're spending money to fly down here, hotels, the cost of the show.
I mean, DecoNetwork, as a team member, I don't have to cover all those expenses, but I did bring some of my team members on my own dime because I want them to experience and learn so we can keep growing and building up our shop. Because I love to bring DecoNetwork's brand to the entire industry, help shops who need it, and still stay on edge with the current technology and be able to relay what we do in our shop, what I see in other shops, so that they can have the best possible experience and provide everything their customers need in order to grow and manage their business.
Right. So guys, we appreciate you coming along as always. This is the last show of 2023.
It is.
But Long Beach 2024 is in January, right around the corner. It'll be here before we know it.
Who doesn't want to go in California in January?
Right. So we appreciate it as always, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Colin.